So I am so happy to be chatting today with Siolo Thompson, the artist and the creator behind the Linestrider Tarot that is all over. I see it all over Instagram. It seems like, it's your creative baby. It's so gorgeous, and I'm so excited to have you here so we can chat about it and learn a little bit about the inspiration behind it. And yeah, so let's just jump right in.
Yeah, good morning. Great to be here.
So what was the inspiration behind your deck, and how did that happen?
Yeah, it was kind of funny because it was definitely a personal project. It was not something I did with the intention of it ever being for anyone else. I was kind of I'm an artist. I've been doing the art thing for a while, and I had a year where I did 34 shows, and I was just kind of had reached a point where the industry is really difficult because it's hard for galleries. It's hard for artists. It's very hard to make a living at it. And, it's an industry where you can slave over a piece for 6 months, you send it off to a gallery, it sells for, or doesn't sell. If it does sell, you lose 50% of your profit to the gallery. If it doesn't sell, you're completely out. Everything, you have to pay for shipping. I don't know. I was just like, there has to be a better way. But I decided to just take a break and do something for myself, refocus, kind of try and figure out where I wanted to go. And, and I used tarot cards to kind of, to sort of help myself ask questions about my life and think about, the choices I need to make and things like that. And I started making a tarot deck. I just started drawing the cards as they came to me as kind of a way to understand them better and to get further into the system. And there's no way to memorize something better than to sit down and draw each one, because then you really get into oh, that's why this image is like this, and over the years so-and-so did it this way, and then they added a cat, or there's a salamander in it and that means fire, and all these different things. But as I started to do it and I would post images online, I was getting such great responses from people. And then and I always like to work in series. It's just much better for me to do that. And then I realized that maybe 10 cards into it, people are like, where can I get the deck? And I was like, oh, okay, I see. There, I have something on my hands here. But one thing I really learned in the process was that I think a lot of what was difficult with, doing sort of the fine art thing was it was so much about me as the creator, and it doesn't give people a lot of space to kind of enter the world. It's not, depending on how you go about it, I think for me that it was more of an ego-driven way of doing art. And with the tarot deck, it became very much something I was doing more in a spirit of service, it was, there's been nothing cooler in my life than seeing everybody out there using the tarot deck. They have it in their homes. Sometimes they alter the deck, they use it to sort of navigate their life and give events meaning, and it's just the coolest thing in the world. It's so much more fulfilling than, oh, okay, I sold a painting and now it's hanging in someone's bathroom. So yeah, that's kind of where it started. And then I did a little Indiegogo campaign to fund the first printing, and and then it got picked up by Llewellyn, and then it's kind of
the rest is history.
The rest is and it's still sort of in progress. It only came out, Llewellyn's version came out in May of this year. So it's really only been out for a few months.
Right.
Yeah.
Goosebumps when you just mentioned the shift of working from ego to working in the spirit of service.
Yeah. It's an interesting thing. It was such a realization for me that maybe the reason that I hadn't really found my stride with the other things I was doing is that I wasn't giving other people enough room to make it theirs, and so I'm kind of in an interesting place now where I almost don't want to do other stuff. I want to create things that people can imbue with their own meaning and their own magic, and that is, it's so much more fulfilling for me.
Absolutely. Wow, what a lesson for so many creators.
Yeah.
It's such a gorgeous message. And it's also something that I see it happen a lot with people who are starting new businesses or starting new projects or whatever it is that they're starting. they're often, you know, it's once they put out a tiny little bit, and then there's like this massive validation of like, keep going, keep going. So it's always that first step too, right? That
yeah, it is. And being open to that, you know, and also, you know, I was a little bit intimidated at the beginning because it was something I was doing for myself, but at no point did I really think of myself as a tarot expert, you know. I'm not a tarot expert. And so it's really funny now because, of course, I wrote a guidebook to go with the deck, and then I wrote a guidebook to go with the next deck. But it's really, I don't think I try to present it as, oh, I know everything about this. It's more like, here's the process I went through with this card. Like, this is how I understand it. And I drew it this way because X, Y, and Z, but, you know, in your hands, it might mean something completely different. It's funny. I mean, I love tarot because there's like so much room for each person. Like, you take a deck and you bond with it, and then, you know, you just throw your life into it, or it throws its life into you, and there's this cool exchange that is outside the creator's hands, and that's awesome.
Yes. Absolutely. Well, there's so many different ways. Like there's probably as many different interpretations of what the cards mean as there are readers, right? So, and so that's, I mean, there are decks that I'll pick up and they're like, oh, I thought that I love this deck, but the moment it's in my hands, it's like, oh, I can't read with it. I love the art, but so, you know, it's funny that way. But yours is very, you have it based on the traditional system, sort of. I don't have your deck yet. I will get it. It's on my wants list.
I'll send you a copy. So it's based on the Rider-Waite, and it's fairly close to that. Where maybe it has its own kind of spin is that it has really feminine energy. I struggle with sort of male patriarchal energy of any sort, even anywhere near me. So like the Emperor card, I had to draw that card like 10 times. It was the last card I finished, and I'm still not happy with the drawing. I mean, I fought with that card, and I think if you look at it, you can see that it's really rigid. It's just an energy that doesn't, I mean, I'm all about like the like feminine, you know, goddess type energy. I mean, that's just, yeah, like the big, strong female that is sort of leading the tribe. I don't have any room for like that dude, you know? So that just, the deck is, I think women read well with it, and it has a really queer energy too. Like whenever there were couples depicted, for the most part, you know, they're either gender neutral the way I've shown them, or same sex, you know, like the Two of Cups is two, you know, same sex characters. But there are a couple like the Ten of Pentacles, because that is really a patriarchal card. So it's just, you know, a father figure kind of person in that image. But those ones, it's so funny because any of the ones that have really strong male energy are really rigid and just not, they don't have the same flow to them, I think, as the others. But, you know,
one thing that I have in the guidebook that I'm doing, I mean, because I'm in the middle of writing a guidebook, that's a giant undertaking, isn't it? It's you know, and one of the things that I asked people to do in the beginning, and I read this somewhere else, so it's not, I couldn't remember where. It's not that it's not my idea, but it's to pull your favorite card and your least favorite card in a deck.
Oh,
right before you start.
Interesting.
Because the least favorite card, you've got something to learn there, right? Like it's like our little bit of our shadow, and the most favorite, it's like, well, maybe that's your power card, or your like yes card, or you know, a little bit of special energy. But it's interesting that even as a creator, you have the card that is sort of like that. Oh, you know, it's just not something about it, right?
Yeah.
It's so cool. I love it.
Yeah. How far along are you with the guidebook?
So I've got everything. It's not ready to go to editing yet, but I have everything kind of laid out. So I'm on my second draft, if that makes sense. Right?
Good, yeah. All right.
You know, I know how many pages it's going to be, more or less.
Yeah.
I've just finished filling in the front piece of the different spreads, because it's so different. It's specific to creators and entrepreneurs, so I had to create different spreads because people past, present, future, it works, but it doesn't work as well, right? You know, every card, they're a little bit quirky.
Yeah, and so you're doing things that are more like problem solving spreads, or more like general inquiry, or tell me about some of the spreads you have.
So there are spreads sort of like, I'm big into flow. Personally, like kind of like the flow in life, and are you in flow with stuff, or are you blocking flow? So I have spreads for that, kind of like even if it's looking for target market, what will resonate with them, like, and what's the resonance and what's the dissonance, and how can I amplify that, and how can I collapse that dissonance? So things like that, where it's sort of it's, of course, what can I change, what can I learn about myself, but it's more based on it's sort of on maybe not necessarily a problem, but a goal, right? So there's like the flow of money spread that I have in there, and you know, what am I doing blocking that flow, and what can I do to call in that flow? So there's stuff that's, it's very much with the creator in mind, someone that's sort of out there trying to make it work, and just needs to get, you know, in my experience anyways, entrepreneurship is like self-help 101. Like, you cannot you know, you learn so much about yourself and life and that. So that's kind of where I'm at right now with the guidebook, is just trying to make those things all make sense. And it's an interesting challenge, right? Because then you have to ask all these different questions to each card and make sure that the card somehow works. With an oracle, it's more open. Yeah. So. Yeah.
Huh. That's cool. And where can we find your deck?
Oh my goodness. So right now the Kickstarter campaign's over. So I have it's at my chris-ann.com. You can go to there's a tab that says Oracle, and so you can go through and go.
What is the title of the deck?
Sacred Creators Oracle.
Secret Creators Oracle.
Yes. And my goodness, yours is on Amazon, right? Your Linestrider.
The Linestrider is really easy to find. So it's it's on Amazon. It's in physical bookstores too. So most physical bookstores carry it. It's at like horrible places like Walmart.
Really? They carry tarot decks in Walmart?
Who knew? You know, at first I was upset about it when I saw it online at Walmart, and then just because, it's a horrible company. I don't want them to have like even a cent of profit on my back. But they're that, you know, if there's some baby witch out there in the wilds of Idaho, and she hopefully shoplifts her first tarot deck, no, I'm kidding. Then that's great. Then so.
Yeah. I mean, that's great, right? Because your energy, and it's like putting your magic out there for the most people, right? And that says something amazing about kind of the energy behind the deck, that it's getting places like that. I'm so excited for you. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's cool. I don't have, because Llewellyn does the distribution and everything, and they're a really cool company. I've really enjoyed working with them. But that does mean that I don't have any control over distribution channels or production or anything like that, which I am a creative entrepreneur, and I am kind of a control freak. So it's been a really interesting process for me to, because like when I send out an indie deck, I mean, I personally, literally with my hands, pack every single package and hand note every single little, thank you for, and it's a process that means a lot to me. So letting go of that is, there's a give and take there. You let go of it, and it has much greater reach if you have someone else handling it, and that's great. But then, like with the next one, the Scrying Ink is the one that I'm sending out this week, and I wanted to self-publish that because I felt like I needed to have that control back, just to be able to. I don't know, because I feel like the people that collect my stuff, I have a relationship with them. They've been with me through the beginning of these projects, and it means a lot to me. I want to look at their package and make sure that everything is. I know that's not a sustainable business model, that I probably have to streamline my pick and pack process. But
oh, I get it. And so did you, so you did publish, you self-published your Linestrider first, and then what was your process with Llewellyn? How did that happen?
So I submitted to Llewellyn, and once I realized that the tarot deck was something when I was posting online and was getting feedback, and I realized that, the universe is basically telling me, like, this is a go, like, you got to do this. And then once I started looking at it, it's like, okay, this is a commercially viable thing, as well as a viable path for my life to go down. Then I decided at that point, I was like, okay, so the next step is working on getting it published and things like that. And, with some research, I just sort of identified Llewellyn as my target. And I was like, okay, this is, it needs to be with Llewellyn, obviously, because they're the biggest publishing company of this kind of thing. And so I put together a marketing plan and, a submission, and submitted it. Didn't get the response I wanted. So I was like, what? No, you're supposed to take it and love it and publish it immediately. Like, what the hell? That's not how the story goes. And I was like, oh, well, maybe I need to do a little more work here. So I decided to do the Indiegogo campaign to crowdfund it, which it's daunting. Crowdfunding is daunting, as you know. Like, you're having to put so much ask out into the world, and I'm so nervous about that. I want to give, I don't want to ask, but I understand that sometimes you have to, like, that's just part of
even equal measure, right?
Yeah, that's the way the world works. But it's such a great opportunity to look at analytics, so I collected a lot of data in terms of who was responding to the deck, information about what kind of customer this was, and what they were looking for, what kind of posts got the most immediate results. And I learned a lot about the kind of people that were interested in this project and the kind of people that would spend money on, tarot products. And then I revamped my marketing strategy. And so I wrote a new marketing plan based on that information, and then resubmitted and got a response within days. So yeah,
that it's sort of, it sounds, it's very similar to what I'm hearing from authors lately. It's, you almost need to prove that you have a viable product and prove that you have somewhat of a following, not all the time, but when you're first out of the gates, oftentimes they want to see that you already have some traction, and then they'll say, yes, we'll pick this up and run with it. That's really cool. Yeah,
and I think that as daunting as crowdfunding is, it's a great place to test a concept.
Yes.
Proof of concept is really important. So if you can say, do a small campaign and say, okay, 300 people responded to this, and here's like what the response is. And, I had thousands of clicks, but I had a, 10% conversion rate to sales, or whatever it is. Like, that is all information that is so useful. And we have access to it now. I love the internet. The internet is the best thing in the world. I'm definitely like all about any new little widget or tool I can use to like better understand what I'm doing and give it greater reach. And then also to be able to like take anything that I make, because as a creator, I have finite time. I have, limited resources in terms of like, how many things I can create. So if I can create a drawing that becomes a tarot card, that then, make that redundant then it's an app after that. And then maybe it's the cover of a notebook, or maybe it's a series of greeting cards. The more you can use the things you make in various ways, like the harder you're making your material work for you. So I'm really all about that too. But yeah, so that's the other thing. I have 2 apps out with Fool's Dog Tarot. So the Linestrider Tarot deck is on an app, and then the Scrying Ink Lenormand deck is also an app.
Oh, is it? Very cool. I have a lot of Fool's Dog. They sort of, are they through Llewellyn?
No. So it's a company called Fool's Dog Tarot.
They do all the tarot decks, it seems like, online, or a lot
of they do a lot of tarot decks. They are excellent people. They're just lovely, lovely people to work with. So with the Linestrider, because I already had a publishing deal with them when I made the deal with Tarot with the Fool's Dog, that's kind of a split commission kind of a thing. And then with Scrying Ink, I just gave them the material straight away before I did anything else with it. But yeah, I mean, it's cool. And apps are it's so magical too. It's like the whole deck is in there, and the Fool's Dog apps run beautifully. And they're just like, you have 50 different like reading cloths that you can swap out. And it's my favorite toy.
For sure. It's ways to take a screenshot and save it and do your little journaling.
Yeah.
Like they've got a really good product. And I didn't realize they were third party. For some reason, I thought they were hooked in with publishers.
No, they're third party, and they're excellent people. And I mean, I would highly recommend you reach out to them too, because if they're just awesome people to work with. And it's a great way too to audition decks. So I find myself, I probably have, I don't know, 15 tarot apps on my phone now. But I'll download, like if I'm thinking about buying a deck, because of course I'm a deck junkie too. If I'm thinking about buying a deck, I will buy the app, which is like $3.99. And that gives me a chance to work with a little bit, see all of the cards, see the cards that I know are generally problematic for me, like the Hierophant or the Emperor, and, get a good squinty look at them to see whether or not it's going to like mess up my flow. Yeah.
Sometimes it's on an app, or it's nice when a deck is out of stock, right? Or it's not available. So they the app for a long time, and then when it comes back in stock, then I'm often like, I just want them in my hand, right?
Right.
I actually started my deck as an app.
Oh, really?
As an app, right out of the gates. I'm like, I'm just going to do an app, and it's going to be simple. And then I got about, I would say maybe 20% of the app kind of done.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, actually, I want cards because I wanted the physical. So I went through that process myself with my own creation, which is sort of, I don't know. I just jumped in kind of thinking, okay, electronic.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't feel right. So,
yeah.
So it's really, I love that you're looking at your metrics and you've got such a good, you've got a good business mind,
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely an entrepreneurial person. And I think that if you're going to be able to make a living as an artist, you really need to be, or you need to have someone on your team that, does that stuff for you, that's good at SEO and all of those things. Because if not, the world is a very hard place. Yeah.
It is. So can I ask about I want to ask about some of your more right brain or feel kind of process that you went through when you were launching and creating, like I know on your Instagram you have, is it Kitchen Witch? I think yes, you have Kitchen Witch.
Yeah.
As I'm like, oh, let's do that. So what did you do? Like, did you do what did you do to manifest this to life?
Oh my gosh, it's gonna get so woo-woo here for a second.
That's okay. I did, you know what? I did a whole bunch of stuff. So
okay. I mean, and the thing is, I'm actually a really pragmatic person. And there are certainly times in my life when I've like straight up considered myself an atheist, because I'm definitely not a theist, and I have a real resistance to organized religion. But that said, I'm very subject to magical thinking. A lot of it is about, I think of the creative process as a magical process. To me, it is like when you're making something by hand out of self, that is a magical process. That's a God activity as far as I'm concerned. And like the more you, to use your word, like the more you kind of are able to throw the doors open and flow, like the more successful the thing tends to be, as far as I'm concerned. On the super woo end of it, I grew up in Bolivia in the mountains, and
That's so cool.
You're what?
I lived in Chile.
No, seriously?
Yes.
Oh, how interesting.
We can have this.
Yeah, podemos hablar en español. Y ya los hemos perdido a todos. Yeah. So up in Bolivia, I lived in this tiny town called Cochabamba, and there's a local deity there called the Akeko, who's sort of the little god of prosperity. He's a very minor god. he's like 4 feet tall. Like, he's a very minor god. But since I was a little kid, like, I have this relationship with this idea of this little guy who's sort of, he's a luck god. And so ever since I've been a little kid, when, you know, like I just kind of knew a lot about him because the locals would, whenever, like if they wanted a new house, they would bring the akeko, like a little, you know, paper version of the house that they want. And they bring him offerings. And he likes, you know, I mean, he's kind of a rogue character. He likes whiskey and cigarettes and like candy. You know? So yeah, when I made a few offerings to the little guy, but just as to like asking for prosperity for the Linestrider. So I don't know, you guys can judge. And then the other thing I did is there's this tradition of taking a stone from the Irish Sea and walking it across England to the North Sea and putting it in the water, like walking that whole distance and earning yourself a wish. And so for the luck of the Linestrider, right before it came out, the week of its launch, actually, I walked across England and made my wish for it.
Beautiful. I love that.
Yeah.
I think it's really, I mean, I know that that's touching on some very personal aspects of you, so thank you. I so appreciate that you shared. I mean, that is the beauty of making magical tools, right? And I really do believe that when we put all of ourselves into work like that, I'm very much like you, where the creative process is magical in and of itself, right? There's something, there's a word Meraki that, have you heard of the word Meraki? It's like, no. It comes from Greek, and it's when you're working and you leave a piece of your soul in the work that you do. Like they have a word for that, right? So there's something about that process. So, and then actually doing all of these little rituals or little things that's just reminding us that this is where we're headed, right? So I think it's beautiful. Thank you. I had someone ask me that last week, which I thought I'm going to ask this question because I was like, oh, can I share this? Like, can I? Yeah, I'm going to guess. I said the exact, I use the same words. I said it's going to get really woo for a minute because I mean, I'm into logos, right? I'm a graphics, so I did sigils, which pulling words into a symbol, and then I did the whole thing. Like, I burned it, put it out into the universe. I did, so it's all part of the bringing it to life process, right? It feels like it's embodying the success of something. So I so appreciate that wanted to share so that you don't feel like you're alone in your woo.
I think part of it, I think success with things also depends on commitment. And for me, these rituals, walking across England or whatever it is, it's part of my commitment to the process and to the person who's on the receiving end. Like I take that relationship very seriously. I feel like I need to honor the person who's putting, their $20 or their $30 or whatever it is. Like that, money is a symbol, but it's a symbol of someone's work, someone's time, some little piece of someone's life that they're exchanging for this thing I made. And I feel like it is kind of a little bit of a sacred thing for me. And I want to be as honorable as I can be about that. And so all of these little rituals that for me are part of like making sure my mind is completely in what I'm doing and that I'm fully committed to it. And if I can't fully commit to it, then I shouldn't be doing it. It's not worth doing it for me. And it's like, I don't want to sell people more stuff that they don't need or that isn't going to make their life more valuable. Because we can sell stuff all day. I could sell you pencil sharpeners or something, but I don't want to. We only have so much magic in our bodies, and I'm not going to use it to sell you a pencil sharpener.
Absolutely not. Well, and there's something. For me, this is the first product that I've ever created. Yeah. I've spent the last 12 years working on other people's launches and other people's products, right? Mm-hmm. So for me, it was like, okay, it's such a big deal, but it feels there's something it has to be true and authentic, right? Because you're putting out this thing that's a magical tool. But I don't think I've ever felt this inspired. Like, I think in my whole life, and I've been an artist my whole life, I don't think that I've been this inspired as I have been with the idea of, I can help people with this.
Yeah.
You know, there's something very special about that too. So it's a little bit back to what you mentioned about service, but yeah, feels pretty good.
It does. It does. And let me tell you, the first time you see your cards out in the wild and people are using them in their bedroom and their cat's laying there and they have a cup of tea, it's pretty much the best thing. Yeah, it's so cool.
Now we can see it, right? With Instagram and with social media, we can actually peek into people's lives and see how they're using it too. And
that is, for me, I don't even know how I would have gone about the process before, because for me, that feedback loop of, you know, I made a thing, now you have the thing, and then they make their own form of art with it, whether it's a beautiful photograph or whether it's, you know, journalings or whatever it is. And so there is this like loop, you know, and it's so valuable to me. It's a relationship that, yeah, I mean, it's soul food. And I just don't know like how that would have worked before. I can't really imagine my life as a, you know, creative entrepreneur without the internet. I mean, I'm sure we would have figured it out, right? Yeah, we would figure it out.
One out of every blue moon, you get one photo of something, right? Absolutely.
Yeah, I guess we could have we would maybe set up tarot nights at a coffee shop, or, you know, talk to people one-on-one. I'm sure there'd be a way to figure it out.
No problem, but it is a beautiful thing to be able to just, and I like to see, I mean, when I look at any deck that I have and I see it online, it's amazing to see other people, even how it looks in their room, or it just has a totally different energy when they take it on and make it their own, right? So
yes, yeah, that's really cool.
It is very cool. So where are you going? Where are you headed? So you have a new deck that's coming.
Okay.
Tell us about that.
You're gonna laugh. This is great. You're gonna totally laugh at me, but you have to trust me. It's gonna be awesome. Okay. Wait 2 seconds. I gotta grab something. Okay, seriously, this is retarded. So I noticed on Instagram, like, there are hundreds of pictures of the Linestrider deck out there, and now that a few like forward copies of Scrying Ink have gone out, I'm starting to see photos of that. But I would say, so I've been thinking, like, basically this is what I want to do. This customer is my tribe, you know, like these people that are into tarot, that like, these are my people. I want to make stuff for them. Like, that's the decision I've made. And so I formed a little company called Bay and Willow, which is sort of my little umbrella. It's a witch specific company. It is a super niche. So it's like, my tagline is magical, mercantile, and witchy wares. Like, that's my customer. That's what I'm doing. So when I look on Instagram or on Tumblr or something like that, when people are reposting the cards, I would say 8 out of 10 posts, if I look at the other things that are in the picture, you know, like in getting ideas, what else can I make for these people, you know, to kind of grow this? 8 out of 10 times in the picture, there are crystals. So I was like, okay, so obviously my customer likes crystals. So I was like, okay, well, what can I do that's in that, you know, kind of in that realm? And drawings of crystals, t-shirts of crystals, like what? So I wish you were here so that you could actually hold these, because they're so cool. So I I've started manufacturing a new product that is specifically for this customer, and I don't know if you can see it.
Cool.
Okay.
What's it made of?
It's soap.
Oh, so beautiful.
Isn't it beautiful?
Yes.
Oh my God, I love this so much. So I've figured out how to, I've streamlined the manufacturing process. This is my amethyst so far.
Gorgeous. It actually, you know what? It looks like this just giant amethyst. Beautiful.
I know. They're so cool. Aren't they cool? I'm so in love with this. My studio right now smells so ridiculous because I was blending scents last night, trying to get like my recipes for the scents down. But I figured out a manufacturing process. So I like handmade all of these molds of actual crystals, and have put together a manufacturing process where I can do about 1,000 units a week. So this is my new product that will start going out next month. So I'm kind of going into bath, beauty, apothecary, kind of doing, so I'm launching 4 of these products to start with, 4 bars. There'll be an amethyst, a rose quartz, a citrine, and like a topaz. It'll be like man scent. Yeah, so right now I'm waiting on packaging.
Topaz is male.
What was it?
Like more man scent, did you say? Is it topaz?
Yeah, it's man scent, like man closet. I mean, which isn't really, I'm sure a dude could use these. That's not a problem. But yeah, I just wanted one that had more earthy tones and, some sandalwood and patchouli and tobacco and stuff. So right now I decided actually to have a graphic designer help me with the packaging. I usually do all my own graphic design stuff, but I want this to be super slick. So right now I'm sitting here waiting for my graphic designer, and I'm such a type A person that like the waiting for my boxes is killing me. It is killing me. I can't even, because I'm so excited about the product. Like I just want to start sending it to people, Yeah. So that's what's next. I'm going into, I'm expanding kind of the realm. Same customer, just making, a variety of like, I guess it's like a lifestyle brand for witchy people.
Absolutely. I could see people, you could use them in photos, right? For sure.
Oh, they'll be beautiful in photos. Yeah.
Big crystals and big coins, right? I mean, like that are so hard to find. And you could also use them in like for your ritual bath or beautiful. I love it.
Yeah. So, like one of my ideas is to do every month, do a full moon pour where it's just a really limited quantity of soap that's a special recipe, and it is only available to people on the mailing list. And so like they can access it. If there's any left after a week, then other people can buy it. But and then like my first social media campaign that I have planned to like just get the word out, I want to do witch in a bathtub. So challenge people to take a picture of a witch in a bathtub. And then like the 10 best photos get a basket of awesome stuff. I'm totally open to the idea that I may get pictures of a bunch of sandwiches in bathtubs, but that's totally fine.
Oh, it's so much fun. So
yeah.
I love that you are such a creator, because it's not just painting. You're now like full-on creative.
Right.
Like, I love it.
Oh man, I'm like every other week I'm like the boys. I live with my partner Andrew, my son Connor who's 17, and my brother-in-law. And we have this big weird rambling house with I don't know if you can see the garden out there. It's this huge botanical garden. But every week I come home and I'm like, at least once a week I'm like, you guys.
I got this idea.
I had a genius idea.
I love it.
I know. They're so like, oh, what is it today, Siolo? But yeah, one of the things I think I want to do, and I don't know how I'm going to find the bandwidth for this, but I want to just like everything I learn in the process of doing things, I just want to share with people, So like I've been thinking about doing a YouTube show, like where I show people the entire process of like how to create the molds and, the recipes and everything, which most people don't have the time and is also really materials intensive to do it. But if they wanted to, like, I want them to know how to do that, So I was just going to like do episodes about that. I do a lot of work with concrete. So like showing people how to make bones out of concrete or, just like weird stuff like that. Or like I do all this kitchen witch stuff, like different kinds of baking, how to make different, like bitters or, so I think that's probably the next things I need to do a little YouTube show where I just give everything away.
There's something about that. And I know we connected briefly on Instagram about that one. I was looking for, trying to figure out how to make my, is this viable? How to do a deck? Where does it get printed? And I reached out to a ton of creators who have very popular decks. And I got a lot of no response, or I got a lot of, it's kind of my creative baby. So I kind of keep that to myself. And so there was I just don't think I'm so different. I'm such an abundance thinker where the more I can share, the more comes in.
Yep.
And I totally think helping other people to create their products, just means more magical stuff in the world and more usage and more.
Yeah.
So I love it. I think, I'm
totally about that. I think like if you just live with open hands, I have such a weird relationship with money because of that, because because I just don't really think about it. You know, I'm pretty good at making money. I'm really good at spending money too. But it's just like, whoosh.
Well, there's something to be said for, you know, it is the tool, but it's not the goal, right? So whether it comes and goes,
Yeah.
flow, you're not focused on it and then you have it, right? But when you focus on it, I feel like when you focus on that piece too much, you stop the flow somehow. And I haven't really, I don't know exactly why, but I'm okay.
I think if you get too precious about anything, then it becomes a little bit of an obstacle, you know? Yeah. I mean, like, I think everyone is such a wonder, you know, everyone has worlds inside of them. And if we just get so caught up on like, I have to be good at this one tiny thing, you know, like I have to do this one thing and I have to hold on really tight. Like you're neglecting this whole other world of things that you could be doing, you know? I used to have this huge complex, I think, because I've heard so much in my life. Siolo, you never finish anything, which is not true, by the way.
I've seen your deck.
Yeah, but I used to have this big hang up about it because I am a super enthusiastic, hyper creative person. So it's true. Like I start a million things. Like it would not be weird if we ended this conversation and all of a sudden I was like, oh, basket weaving. that. Yeah.
I get it. I get that energy. And it's actually been, I mean, and a tarot deck is, you have more cards in a tarot deck than I have in my oracle deck. So I know that is like a start finish project. And when you get like, you know, you're 50 cards in, you're going to finish, right? But that is a huge,
Getting to 50 is a pretty big thing. Yeah. And I'm kind of one of these people that has no habits. Like I don't do the same thing twice. I don't think ever. I'm like allergic to habits. I can't read the instructions on anything. I literally can't even see them. But you know, I've given myself, I have a strategy though for dealing with my like constant creative ADD.
He's bothering me.
Oh, it's a magical dog. Oh no.
I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna bring him into my lap.
Oh, he's so cute. So I have this thing now where I give myself permission to start anything, work on anything, play around as much as I want, as long as I finish 2 big projects a year, start to finish. That's all I have to do. I'm like, as long as I do that, I'm okay. Like I give myself permission to play. And then I also have a shoebox in my desk drawer called the Shoebox of Genius Ideas. So whenever I have a genius idea, but I need to like stay focused on what I'm doing, I just write down my genius idea and I put it in my box of genius ideas.
It's a parking lot, you know, you can pull it out and take a peek.
Yeah, and then I carry on with my life. But sometimes I'll go back and look at the box and I'm like, really? That was your big idea? An entire cookbook made of stuffed stuff. All right.
I've got notebooks and notebooks of them. And sometimes that happens where I'm like, oh, I thought this was so great and it's terrible. And other times I go back and sometimes you're just so in the creative go. I'm like, I don't even remember having that idea. But you look at it and you're like, that was pretty good. Yeah. I've got all these doodles for, cause I'd like to play with making some skincare products and stuff. Like I do it for myself. And I have this whole book of doodles for skincare products, but it's all done as if it's meant for fairies. So like wing cream and like, you know, and I've got all these.
You should make a guest product for my store.
I've got all these like
fairy
products, right? But there's sort of like, but then there's like kind of like, you know, like they're products that we could use, but they're really, you totally look very, you know, like oddities, you know?
Mm-hmm. See, I'm not afraid of that though. I've just decided that like, you know, the world is a big place. And like, for example, the bath and beauty market. If you start thinking about, I'm going to make something that's going to compete on the bath and beauty market, that is such a vast market. And your marketing strategy would have to be so complicated. But if you just say to yourself, I'm going to make stuff that my customer would like, all of a sudden it's like, the path is clear, you know, like I'm going to make this thing for these specific people. And I spend a lot of time like talking to people online. If I see someone using my tarot deck, I will probably reach out to them and be like, oh my God, I love what you did here. You know, like I know these people, I want to make stuff for them. And that makes everything simple. You know, it's like, oh, it's an oddity and they'll like it. Yay. You know?
So
I guess that goes to like, I'm big into like, I listen to a lot of entrepreneurial podcasts and things like that. And this whole know your avatar, like just be really, really clear about who your customer is. And that is kind of the first step to these things is good advice. It makes life simple.
and fine, and allowing yourself, like, to play with crazy ideas like wing cream or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
It allows your customers to also come out of the woodwork because they're like, I want that.
Yeah.
Right. So it's kind of a give and play, like a give and take a little bit, but I love it. I'm so happy that we connected, and
absolutely.
We should stay connected. There's opportunities for just creative thinking, and right? There's a lot of deck creators on Instagram who, we had this little chat between 2 or 3 of us, and I was like, maybe we could just get people all on one call and just talk about what it's been like, or like I just like bringing people in. And
yeah, absolutely. And anything like that I can help with, like, I don't know if you have your printing figured out yet or things like that, I'll send you all my resources. You can find them on your own too, but I can just let you know, like, I use these people, they had great paper stock, I can send you samples or whatever. Because that part of it for me was a little bit daunting, because I was doing some printing overseas, and the first time you do that, you're like, is it ever going to get here? Like, how does this work? But
I've been reaching out overseas. I looked, not that I called every single printer in North America, but I looked for printing that was affordable in North America, because my idea was I didn't want to get it printed in China, but it's going to be printed in China.
It can be done otherwise. And I totally appreciate that thought. And as much of my process as can be done, not even just in North America, but in like the Pacific Northwest specifically, because this is where I live. Yeah. So if I can make the boxes here, I can do the labels here, I can do like all of the personal care products. That's really attractive to me because this is 100% handmade, which I love, and it's made here with products from here. But printing the cards, you gotta go to China, girl. Sorry.
Because the price.
They're people too. God damn it.
The price just went by 10, right? I was like,
yeah, it's impossible. It's impossible. I mean, your deck would have to be. To make your margins, your deck would have to be like $62. It's just not possible.
No, it's
unfortunate, but I mean, if anybody out there is listening is in the print industry, there's a vacancy for that. Like,
yes,
because I know we would all love to do our products here if we can, and as much as my processes I can do here, I do, but the cards themselves. Yeah. That said, I've been working with a company in China that I really like and I'm really pleased with.
I found someone through Alibaba online,
yeah.
Alibaba.com.
Yeah.
And I think, I'm trying to remember the name of them right now. The people that I think I'm going to print with, they're called, I think they're Shenzhen.
They're in Shenzhen. Yeah, so there is one Shenzhen that they're actually called Shenzhen printer, but all of the printers, they're in the same like 6-block radius in Shenzhen. So, yeah, and then they'll ship through Hong Kong.
So it's all pretty much the same. They're all
pretty much the same. But yeah, I use a company that's just called makeplayingcards.com, and they've been lovely. Like their customer response is really good. They're really good about giving me proofs and everything, and you can just order one deck at a time if you need to, which I do to physically check them before I do my big print runs.
I did use those guys for my first test. Yeah, the make play.
Cool, that's awesome. Yeah, well, at quantity they're great too. Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, they were really affordable. I think the decks.
Cool.
I'm trying to remember if they're when you go through those guys, maybe $15 if you're doing one deck plus your shipping, or it makes it possible, right?
Right.
Like,
yeah.
$200 on my first sample.
Yeah. Although I do like all of my guidebooks and everything, I do print here, locally, like in the city.
Wonderful. Cool.
Yeah. Cool.
Well, thank you so much for spending some time
this
morning. So cool to get to know you and to meet you. And I wish you all the best with your new deck and your crystal soaps. I'm my goodness, one of those is going to make it into my bathtub, let me tell you.
I need you to do a witch in a bathtub.
I'll absolutely do one. I love it. Love it. So they're beautiful. And
thank you. I'm so excited about
it. All the success that, that that your heart desires. I hope that's coming to you soon.
Yeah, I feel like if you make something and then you get really excited to sell it, you're probably on a good track.
Yeah, well, your excitement is that navigation, right? That navigation system for me. I've been, for the last year, just promising myself that when an opportunity comes up, I'm tuning into, does this really excite me? Like, does it set me on fire? And if it doesn't, I got to leave space for something that does, right?
Absolutely. I totally agree. Oh, I want to touch your dog's ear. Oh, so cute. Oh no, it's a poop. Oh no.
Need the haircut.
Are you up in Vancouver?
No, I'm just north of Toronto, but I was.
Oh, okay. That's quite a bit farther. I was like, we should totally have coffee.
No, but
I'm
in Vancouver quite a bit. I was there last month. I've got some good girlfriends. I used to.
Okay, let me know next time you're out, because it's. I like to go hike up on Vancouver Island and stuff. So.
Oh yes, yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah.
The girl that created the Star Child Tarot is on Vancouver Island.
Oh, is she?
Yeah.
I did not know that. That's cool. That's a beautiful deck. Yeah.
Gorgeous. Yeah, I love it. I haven't had it. I don't have it yet, but I have ordered it. I know, because it was out of print for a while. And yours is sitting in my Amazon cart.
All right. That's great.
Click yes. I'm excited to get it. Well, thank you, and we will absolutely we'll be in touch again.
Great, absolutely. And just reach out if you need anything, if there's anything I can help you with, or
Awesome.
Yeah. All right. Okay, have a good day. Bye.